let's talk about the NHS, if we must. Let's go over to the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters, Fiona McAnena. Hello, Fiona.
Hi, Kevin.
Well, what are we going to do about the NHS, Fiona? I mean, this is the moment where it officially goes mad. Staff have now been ordered, this is in NHS Scotland, but you can rest assured this will go national, that if trans women, men who wear dresses and who want to be treated as females, have beards, you still have to treat them as females. Now, my suggestion was, excuse the language, if you want to be treated as a female, maybe, you know, an initial sensible step might be to shave your bloody beard off. That might be a start, mightn't it? But this is nonsense. They talk about the fictional case of Lucy, a 29-year-old trans nurse. She has yet to formally change her name from Lee, but she's still producing visible facial hair. You have to call her Lucy because that's what she wants to be. They're ordering the staff, instructing the staff to use the chosen names and pronouns of transgender co-workers. These are instructions. Now, you know, I would probably go along with that. Don't want to upset these people. But if I didn't want to, if I wanted to say, well, Lucy, as far as I'm concerned, you're still Lee, especially since you're still sporting that beard, and I'm not going to use your pronoun, I'm going to call you Mr. That is an issue of free speech. I can if I want, can't I?
Well, these people are being told in training, in NHS training, that this is how they must behave. And it's hard to know where to start with this because this is our health service. And yet the thing they're training people on is to pretend that a man is a woman and to use the wrong pronouns, potentially even to lie to patients. Because if a vulnerable person is saying, I want a woman to treat me, and Lee/Lucy turns up, the staff are not allowed to say, that's a man. They have to say, here's Lucy, she's here to look after you. I mean, you really have to wonder about their priorities if this is what they think good training looks like.
Now, you ladies at Sex Matters do great work, I would suggest that one of the ground zero problems that you face on a day-to-day basis is the NHS. The NHS enshrines all of this crazy trans extremism day in, day out, like this new guidance, like the fact that if I go for an X-ray, I have to answer the question, am I or am I not pregnant? I have to. That is NHS policy. If I refuse to answer it, I will not be given an X-ray. The NHS is stark staring mad when it comes to this claptrap, isn't it?
Well, what we're seeing here, yes, and those are good examples, is a dedicated effort by activists to take the idea of biological sex, male and female, out of the system. That's why they don't want men's and women's toilets. That's why they want to pretend that Lucy with a beard is a woman, if that's what Lucy says. And that's why, you know, they want to ask you if you might be pregnant. And it's just an eroding of a fundamental human reality. You know, we can be polite to each other without having to lie to one another and without having to discomfort other people. Nobody wants gender neutral toilets. And frankly, nobody wants Lucy with a beard in the women's toilets. And Lucy might want it, but other people have rights too.
All I can say is thank God Lucy's fictional, but you can rest assured there's probably a few real life Lucys strutting the corridors of the NHS. You know, West Streeting, the health secretary who won't fix the broken NHS, but like all health secretaries, pretends that he will. He says he's declaring war on this kind of weird wokery, this woeful wokery. Yet he allows this to carry on, that people like me still have to be asked whether or not we're pregnant before we get an X-ray. And by the way, official NHS policy, your thoughts on this, Fiona, is still to call pregnant mothers birthing people. The word mother or woman or female seems to be outlawed in the NHS. Your thoughts?
Well, I think this shows you how difficult it is to root out this kind of nonsense when it's taken root. The NHS is very decentralised. There are all kinds of different NHS trusts, some doing sensible things, some doing crazy things. I think we probably don't know the half of it, and it's going to take a very concerted effort by the Secretary of State for Health and whoever takes over as chief executive of NHS England to change what's going on. NHS Scotland should be easier to change because it's one single entity. But, you know, unless the government in Scotland wants to do that, that's not going to change either. So I'm afraid we're in this for the long haul because there's an awful lot of stuff to undo. It's
kind of strange, isn't it, that the NHS, you know, where doctors and nurses and medically qualified people work, this is the place where they refuse to accept biology. They refuse to accept scientific facts. That's supposed to be their business. Why is it happening in the NHS?
Well, I think it's a small number of activists, some of them in very influential positions, who are dictating this kind of stuff. You know, we hear from doctors, nurses, other members of staff in the NHS who do not want to go along with this, who want to give patients the right care, who don't want to lie to them or mislead them that a man is a woman. But they have to be very careful because they've been told that policy is that they must treat their trans-identifying colleagues as they want to be treated. So that just creates an extra level of tension in the organisation, as if they haven't got enough to worry about. But, you know, we've had a clear message from the top. Let's see now if that will filter through.
Yeah, well, West Streeting wrote a kind of searing article in The Sun about 3 weeks ago. Nothing yet. I wouldn't count your chickens, Fiona, but you never know. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Thank you very much. Great to talk to you. Fiona McAnena there, the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters.